In today's video, I want to talk about BRC20 tokens. What are they? Why are they significant to Bitcoin? And how might you best position yourself for this new class of token? Hello and welcome back. So BRC20 tokens, what is going on? We're hearing a lot about BRC20 tokens. What are they? What's going on? Why are these things having these crazy price advances, insane volatility when they don't really do anything yet? So for those that are not aware, or maybe you're not using Bitcoin, I'm sure that you've noticed that the transaction fees of Bitcoin have been getting very, very high. What's going on? Well, we have a huge amount of volume coming from these BRC20 tokens. We have not had any token model on top of the Bitcoin network before, and now we have this new token standard that is native to the Bitcoin layer that is causing a lot of disruption in the blockchain and filling up the blocks to the max, and people are actually bidding. They're in a kind of a gas war, similar to Ethereum. They're in a gas war trying to get their transactions through to the next block. So yeah, BRC20 tokens, you can check the link down below. It is brc20.io. There's already a huge list of all these different altcoins that are like, we're talking thousands of altcoins that are going onto the Bitcoin network. It's an insane amount of transactions that are trying to be processed through the Bitcoin network right now. This is most of this is not great. You know, altcoins are kind of shit in my opinion. I mean, I don't recommend 99.9% of the coins that are out there, but what I am identifying is the similarities to these market cycles. I've been in this space for a very long time. I've been actively trading since 2017. And what you come to notice as you go cycle to cycle is that the same patterns sort of repeat themselves. And what we're setting up for is actually DeFi. You know, the last cycle on Ethereum, the previous bull market was pretty driven by DeFi, but we're seeing DeFi on Bitcoin, or at least the beginning of what could potentially be DeFi on Bitcoin. And it's starting out with these BRC20 tokens. Now, as it stands right now, these BRC20s don't do anything. They do absolutely nothing. There's no DeFi whatsoever. These are just collectibles at this point. Pepe is a meme is a meme, pizza is a meme. They have zero utility whatsoever, and you can barely even sell the things. They sell now kind of like NFTs in a peer-to-peer way with trusted services and trusted third parties. Really, really, really early. But we're starting to see some interesting stuff come along. This is called Oshi. Now, nothing here is considered financial advice. I'm not making any endorsements or recommendations specifically with anything to do with BRC20 tokens, because this is the very beginning. Nobody knows anything. If anybody tells you that they know something, they're either a fool or they're lying to you. There's absolutely no way for us to have enough information to make educated decisions on picking any of these tokens. But developers are working on pretty interesting things like liquidity pools. One of the most important protocols that hit Ethereum back in 2020 was Uniswap. Uniswap changed the name of the game. It changed the way that you were able to trade assets on chain on Ethereum. So Oshi is trying to do the same thing. We can go ahead and pull up the docs here. I'll have all of this stuff linked below, but BRC20 liquidity pool alpha proposal. They're trying to build liquidity pools. Now, personally, I don't think liquidity pools are a very good idea, but they're kind of a short-term fix to a long-term problem. Ideally, you want to have an order book. You don't want to have pools of liquidity, because pools of liquidity introduce protocol risk, but that's a completely different topic for another day. We're going to stick with the comparison of a narrative where DeFi is coming to Bitcoin. Liquidity pools are extremely important for DeFi. This will allow for swaps. This will allow for lending. This will allow for many, many things. So pretty exciting. You can go ahead and take a look for yourself. This is Oshi. You could buy the Oshi token. It's extremely volatile. I don't recommend it, but you can absolutely, do your own research and make your own decisions. Another one is ORPO. So this is another BRC20 utility token that is trying to do the same thing. So they're trying to, what are they trying to do? Where's our docs? Right here. So it's another liquidity experiment. They're trying to do it in a slightly different way from Oshi, but again, we don't have enough information. We don't know what's going on. I just wanted to bring this stuff to your attention because those of you who are still here, those of you who have made it this far into the bear market, this is the time where you need to start paying attention. This is the part of the market cycle where the new innovations come in. I've been talking about this for months. I've been talking about this for a very long time. There are key components and similarities to where you are in a price cycle. And when you're in a bear market and it stops falling, it starts trading sideways and innovation starts to occur, you really need to pay attention. So although we don't have enough information, we don't know what's going on, what we do know is innovation is taking place. So please start paying attention, start, looking into these docs, start checking out these GitHub, these Git books and really getting a clear understanding as to what these developers are trying to do and keep an eye on if they're actually able to do it. This is going to drive a ton of demand. I don't think a lot of people realize how little Bitcoin is actually available. It's about 12% of the circulating supply is available on the exchanges. We can go ahead and take a look at this chart right here. This is telling you how much Bitcoin is available on exchanges. Currently, there is 2.3 million Bitcoin out of the 19 million Bitcoin, 19.3 million Bitcoin available in circulation. Now, why this is significant is that Bitcoin on the exchange is sitting somewhere on an order book. If there's not a lot, if there's only 10%, you have a very thin order book. A lot of people think that money in equals price go up. It's not that simple. It is the order book that decides price. So if you have a bunch of asks and you have a bunch of bids, depending on if there is more demand versus supply, that's how you get price advance. So you can actually move the price of Bitcoin $1,000 with $100. Let me repeat that. You can move the price of Bitcoin $1,000 with $100. It all matters on what the last price that somebody paid for Bitcoin is. Market cap is pretty deceptive. It doesn't mean that that much money went in. It doesn't mean that that much money is available to come out. So get the market cap stuff out of your head. The fundamentals here are, what did we see in the previous cycle? We saw blockchains like Solana, Ethereum, Avalanche, Matic, all of these different blockchains. What did they do? They offered DeFi services. They had NFTs. They had all of these different really cool things that fall under the category of DeFi. And now we have the same thing happening to Bitcoin. What did you need to do if you needed to buy a Solana NFT? Well, you had to go buy Solana. What did you need to do if you wanted to enter an Ethereum liquidity pool? Well, you needed to go buy Ethereum. Now, what do you need to participate in a BRC20 token? Well, you need Bitcoin. You need you got to go to the exchange, you got to click market buy, and you got to go get Bitcoin. That's going to remove even more supply from the exchanges, and it's going to cause the order books to become even thinner, and the demand is just going to overtake. I would not even feel bad in speculating that this could potentially be the beginning of a super cycle. Now, I know we had that bullshit narrative last cycle where everybody was calling for a super cycle, but there was a lot of cannibalistic liquidity that was leaving Bitcoin. It was going into other projects. It was going into all of the projects that I just named. This is intrinsically different because everything is coming back to Bitcoin. All of the liquidity is coming back to Bitcoin, and the new participants are going to participate on the Bitcoin network. So I think that this is fundamentally quite different. Another thing that's very interesting is because of the high network fees on Bitcoin, the exchanges are not really wanting to deal with layer one Bitcoin. So they're going to start introducing the Lightning Network. This is going to increase Lightning Network adoption. This is also going to maybe even force the exchanges to start denominating Bitcoin pairs in Satoshis. Another thing that's going to drive adoption and price advance is a lot of people have negative unit bias with Bitcoin. Well, I can't afford a Bitcoin. It's $28,000 for a Bitcoin. I don't want to buy that. I want to buy several of these other coins. Sure, you can't buy a whole Bitcoin, but you can buy 4,000 sats for $1. So the unit bias thing is going to really begin to crumble as a result of Lightning Network adoption and the exchanges using sats as a unit of account, a unit of measurement for a lot of this stuff. So I don't know. It's speculation at this point. Again, really, really early, but the fundamentals that are coming into the market right now, traditional finance aside and everything that's happening with the mess of the fucking world and the position of the US dollar, all that stuff aside, the fundamentals of Bitcoin have never been stronger. And it's a pretty interesting time. But yeah, I encourage you, please do your own research, make your own decisions, and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. That's all the time I got for today. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.